guys, how's everyone doing? Juan Muller here, JXM Enterprise. We're going to start a podcast series going over everyone who's going through like the training program, going through like the sales, the marketing, and kind of just understanding like their journey through the whole process, right? Because a lot of us who like start in this industry, this isn't kind of what we did before, right? Like even for myself, I came from the military background, completely different than like in this professional environment, in sales, in marketing, in business, right? So we really just want to ask a few people who've been going through the training program, right? Gabriel, right? He's really new. He just started like about a month ago. So we really just want to get a deep dive. I'm just asking him a few questions. Same thing with Jayden. Right, Jayden's been in the program probably like the longest, and just going over, asking a few questions, their struggles, what their goals are, what they did before. But don't want to waste too much time, so let's just jump in right away. Starting with Gabriel. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing? Yes.
Good. Go ahead, like introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Kind of like what you were doing before too.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I'm Gabriel. I just started like a few weeks ago. Before this, I was a bar back. For those that don't know what that is, it's like basically like the nanny of the bar. Wash dishes, all that good stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I still do it a little bit, at the same time. So, but that's pretty much it.
A bar back.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so kind of like just washing the dishes, making sure like the counter isn't sticky.
Yeah.
All right, and so what was your thoughts of when you first wanted to branch into a different industry, when you started looking into sales, into the marketing, kind of like why?
Why? For me personally, it was just like I needed a job. My bar was closing down soon. I needed money. Also a student. So it was like, I'm just going to apply for everything. I saw some marketing. I was like, I could probably do that, I could talk pretty well, especially with the bar. I have to talk to people, drunk people, sober people all the time.
Right.
Like, I could do that. So I just signed up and forgot about it,
Yeah? What were your thoughts at first, right? Because like in a sales and in like a marketing, and especially like this type of business, is very fast paced, right? Yeah. You see people like dressed very professionally, but it's loud, right? There's like screaming going on. Everyone's like super enthusiastic. Like, what were your thoughts like sitting through like the interview process and like understanding the business?
This guy took my interview, so I walked in. It was a good environment. Everybody was dressed casually. I mean, business wear. It was a good environment. I was like, this is people I could see myself working with. It was really just the environment. I saw what he was doing. I was like, okay, doesn't look too hard. I mean, a little challenging, but nothing I couldn't get through.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's really just a whole new environment, right? You kind of just like trusted to like learn and build a skill from there.
Yeah.
What kind of like attracted you to it? Like, what made you be like, yes, I'm gonna go for it?
The growth.
The growth?
The skills you acquire, the growth, the personal growth. This is stuff. The things you learn here, you can like use for everything, not even just the business. So like that's what really caught me. The
skills you can add to your resume, apply here, grow with it. And you've been here for like a month now, right? He got promoted to account manager yesterday, actually. Yeah. So, pretty cool. Now he can actually start taking on a lot more leadership, right? At the beginning, you're really just learning the sales, learning the marketing. And what's really important in this business, right? You can be a super good salesman, but you can't scale or grow a business or your skill set until you can start teaching it to others. Like in school, right? At one point, your teacher, your English teacher, your math teacher, whoever it could be, they at one point had to get schooling, right? They sat through the same classes. They're teaching you. They went to college. They have more education than you. So now they're able to teach it. And the name of the business is you can teach more people, help more people acquire the skill. That's kind of how you grow, and that's how you scale and grow a business as well. So within like, now that you're promoted, what are like the biggest challenges you had to take to actually get promoted? Like learning the sales, because you didn't do sales before, right? You're in the music industry and a bar back.
Yes, sir.
So completely different,
yes,
right?
Sir.
So what were like the skills and like the biggest challenges to like overcome to get your first promotion?
Like confidence. I wasn't very confident at first, especially with strangers. Like I'm not really a stranger person, So it was building that up. Also, teach backs. I had a very hard time teaching. I still do have a hard time teaching it back because one thing is to learn it, but actually like teach it to somebody else. That's a whole different ball game that I'm still trying to get through. I would say that's the most like the confidence, taking control, because you gotta pitch and stuff, and teaching.
Teaching?
Yeah.
So what you said, working on your confidence, right?
Yeah.
Were you ever like a team lead at any sort, or like in charge of a classroom, or like teaching like in school, in the music industry? Have you ever been like in charge of like a small group?
I was always the person like I don't want to be leader. Like I don't want to have that responsibility at all. I never wanted to be that. I always did whatever I could to get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even a follower either. I like do my own thing, bro. I worry about me type thing, you know. But I have brothers, so like that was the only time I'll take that role. But if not, just in general, no, I would never.
Never?
Never.
So what's making you kind of like switch now? Are you excited to start teaching?
I am actually. I'm very excited. But yeah, I'm just excited. It's like different. I'm trying to get like the one thing I love about this business, like you get out of your comfort zone and then maybe like growth, like again, you know what I'm saying? So.
Okay, so you're excited to start teaching it, building on it. That's awesome. And then what was your family, right? Because at first the whole training, right, to actually go through the whole sales, the whole marketing training, the skill set training, it takes like 6 to 8 months, right? And it's a lot of hard work. It's not the easiest, right? So what does like your family really think putting a lot more time into the industry, like developing the skill, challenging yourself?
They're pretty okay with it. I'm not gonna, my mom's just happy I'm working. Got out the house to stop playing the game, you know?
Yeah.
So she's just happy I'm outside working and not, like, doing other stuff I could be doing. So, yeah, my dad's same way. He's like, good, you got a job. So, I don't know if he knows how serious I'm about it yet, but he knows I'm working. So, like, they're pretty cool with it for now, yeah.
And what do they do?
My dad works for, I forgot what he works in. But he works, like, for some company. He, like, works in the building and stuff. My mom, she's an artist. She paints, she sells art. So yeah, that's yeah.
And do you have artist skills with your mom? Like, do you paint? Do you draw?
I actually really enjoy coloring.
Coloring?
Yeah, coloring's fun.
Like coloring books.
Yeah, coloring books. Yeah,
okay, there you go. I'm colorblind, so I don't like coloring. I don't know the colors.
But
I could never stay inside the lines.
Yeah, this guy, man, he's one of those. Man.
Yeah, no, he just scribbles.
This is breaking crayons.
Just
too,
scribbles.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean I could draw a little bit. I could draw a little something.
Try and pick up some more skills from your mom.
Yeah,
that's good. And then for right now, what are like the type of goals you're developing? Like, what are your future goals? Like 3 months from now.
3 months from now.
Yeah.
3 months from now, I hope I have like the beginning of a team. At the beginning, maybe one getting towards leadership, like give me a little mini me in a chest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what my goals for 3 months from now are.
Okay. And then how are like your habits?
My habits?
Yes.
My like bad ones?
If you have any bad ones, because
my worst one's probably like
sleeping in.
Sleeping in. That's my worst one.
Yes.
He saw it before that's my worst one. Good habits, like I don't complain. I work my full day. You know, I know it's it's the job. That's what we signed up for.
100%.
Yeah, that's my best.
Okay, and then what's like your biggest goal, like long-term goals? Like, what do you see Gabe like a year from now?
A year from now? Doing the same thing you doing. Sitting in your chair right now.
Really just building a good future for yourself, for the foundation.
Sir.
Do you have a family you're gonna have to support, or is it kind of just you now?
No, it's always that's like one of my whys. Yeah, family. I gotta make sure they straight.
For family,
Yes,
like what's that one movie? Fast and the Furious. For
Furious.
family.
For family.
For family.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But and you see,
Coronas.
it's pretty crazy. Like a month ago, right? He was just bar backing, making sure like the throw up was cleaned up and like everything's done. Now he has to worry about like mean customers and people like slamming doors on his face and like now really just teaching. Right, you can see there's like a bunch of, you can't see, but there's a bunch of whiteboards here. There's a bunch of blackboards where people are like actually teaching and trying to like run these workshops. So, really, his goals probably before. What were your goals like 2 months ago? Did you have any goals?
To get a job.
To get a job. So every single like you see, he's accomplishing his goals. Right, he wanted a job, got a job. Now, was this job what you thought it was gonna be?
Not at all. I was like, why am I here? Like, what is this? I thought I was gonna leave that. Everybody, they probably not gonna give me like it's fine. Like, I wasn't even tripping. Like, yeah, I was kind of indifferent about it at first. I was indifferent about it.
He was like, I hope so. We'll see when I hear the phone call. Okay, that's cool. So now you have some actual goals, bigger than yourself. And it's more just like grow in general.
Yeah.
All right, and then we'll introduce Jayden. Right.
What's up?
Yeah, Jayden. He's been. How long have you been doing this now? 11 months.
Yeah, like 11 months. So since like the second day of February. I remember I took my prelim on like the 1st of February and I was getting like my tire changed and I was on the prelim. I don't even know how I got to the second round, to be honest, but yeah, and then I came in for the second round, came in like the day after that and I was just ready to go. But yeah, it's been a crazy ride, crazy experience. So 11 months so far.
Yeah, 11 months. And to think about it, Jayden, we started this business in Sacramento, California. Right now, we're in Los Angeles, right? So we've been in Los Angeles for how long? Going on almost 2 months, maybe a month?
Like, yeah, a little over a month, maybe.
A little over a month we've been in Los Angeles. And we started in Sacramento. That's where he started with myself as well, too. What kind of, like, made you leave Sacramento? Like, that's where you grew up, right? That's where your family is, your mom, your pops, everybody, your sisters.
The second...
And come to LA.
The second half of my childhood was, like, all in Sacramento. So, yeah, I just knew my family. I went to school, middle school, high school, like, all my friends, everything I knew was in Sacramento. I worked, like, 4 or 5 jobs. I was really just, like, moving around, doing a lot of just nothing productive, really, just like 9-to-5 jobs, student jobs, you know what I'm saying? But I knew for a fact that in A, my leader, and B, what my goals and my aspirations wanted, that staying in Sacramento wouldn't have been productive. Like, I had so many more things that I could accomplish at a way faster rate just by simply expanding and removing the bad outside influences, removing, like, all the things and the vices and the bad and negativity around you that comes with sometimes those friends and those families that cause you to really just spend time where it doesn't need to be. So, for sure, that played into a lot of why I decided to expand too.
Okay. And then I heard you said you're, like, working, like, 4 different jobs, right?
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, but he's 19, right?
20.
20, my fault. He's a youngster, right?
Freshman.
And he's doing a lot. Like, at 20 years old, I was in the Navy. I wasn't doing nothing crazy, right? A lot of people join the Navy right after high school, like I did, right? You just listen to orders, make sure your hands out of your pockets, make sure you're shaved. Now I can grow a patchy beard. But, so, from those times, why were you moving so much jobs at such a young age?
It was just, honestly, like, when you have that worker mentality, you always are looking to blame the situation, blame someone else, blame the management, blame the leadership, right? I was working at the movie theater. I was like, damn, this sucks. I just got popcorn thrown at me by some old lady who didn't think that I put butter on her popcorn. It's time to go. Peace out, right? Then I was working at Adidas, and it was a little bit more retail focused, and, like, the management wasn't doing nothing at all. They would just, like, sit in the back. And I was like, they're not leading by example. It's time to go. Peace out, right? And then I started working at Polo, which is, like, in the same outlet. I just crashed out, to be honest. I was a crash out at Polo. And then I started working at a grocery store in the deli, and I was making sandwiches, and that for sure brought out the crash out, because then you got people hovering over you like, hey, no, I wanted this cheese, not this cheese. And then you're, like, looking at them, you're like, bro, you could have bought all these ingredients and taken it home and made it yourself. Okay. But eventually that all just led me to be like, bro, I don't want to work for someone. I don't want to have someone telling me, like, what to do every second of the day, during the day, while I'm working, like, my 8 hours so that I can get my 40 in for the week, so that, you know, for the rest of my life I can make my 40 hours and survive off of paycheck to paycheck, right? And I just knew, like, the only people in the world that really don't have to deal with those problems are A, business owners, or B, people that went through school 4, 6, 12 years, right? Got that degree, and they're working, like, the best job imaginable. And I knew I couldn't do school. I suck at school. But I'm a good student when it comes to things that I actually wanted to learn and, like, grow about and know, things that I had genuine interest in. And I didn't like staying in one place all the time. So as soon as I got, like, interviewed and they told me, like, door to door, I was like, whatever. And I was just like, I'll try it. It's something that I hadn't tried before. So honestly, like, getting into that environment and just, like, really starting to mold that, like, whatever mentality, right? Like, you just gotta go with it. And I feel like the more people try to, like, look into it and, like, pick apart, like, oh, you're going door to door, you don't get this, and you don't do this that other jobs do, and you gotta be outside, and the weather isn't uncontrollable, and this and this and that. Everyone's looking at it for the negatives. You start looking at it for the positives. I mean, there's not very many other jobs that people are in the rat race can work that they can immediately put cash in their pocket. They can immediately give themselves a raise for that day. They can immediately do so many things, right? And at the same time, you don't have somebody, like, hovering over your shoulder all day, like, hey, you need to go make that sale. You need to go knock that door. You need to go, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, definitely the field is one aspect of it, but then the management opportunity, then you're definitely at a point where it's like, you're leading a large group of people, and you're writing the checks, and you're doing everything. Like, you're responsible for what you brought into the business world. It's your market. So it's like definitely a completely different turn of events, and like being as an employee for an organization like Smart Circle instead of being an employee for an organization like Rayleigh's. It's completely different things. Completely different.
That is true. Even like, for example, like the military, that's an organization,
100%.
right? And same thing, you start at the bottom, right? I remember just like, I got my first day like in the Navy, or like my first week, I got to my ship and I went to the bathroom and we were rocking and there was just like shit water, like going back and forth. And I was like, dude, like my bed's like down the hall. Like this is real life. Same thing, you work your way, right? You understand like what organization, what you're really feeding. And I'm a big fan of the military. I love the military. I love America. I like would never take our freedoms and what we have here for granted. It is beautiful. Like the opportunity that I have, even just this opportunity to be able to own your own business and inspire others and lead others. You can't do this in a lot of other places. So I do get props for a lot of military people who spend their whole lives in the military. Thank you so much, right? But I also were hearing you say, right, where you were tired of just like, you said you crashed out or you quit a lot because of management, because of the leadership, right? Here, what's the difference here that you like see?
I came in and I see everyone in suits, and then not even like 2 hours later, I see everyone in t-shirts, running shoes, and like sweats, shorts, right? And they're like, all right, we better go run and knock these doors and have like 100 people tell us no. You ready? I'm like, you get 100 people telling you no on a daily basis? And they're like, yeah, you ready? Like with a smile on their face. And then you look at like leadership in other places, like at a movie theater, at Adidas, like you look at the upper management and they're sitting behind a desk, like not talking to nobody, just doing their thing like all day. Not even like the employees get to like associate or really talk to them. So it's like they're not leading from the front. You're not seeing the people that are supposed to be like your leader actually lead you. You're just hearing them tell you, like, this is the expectation, this is the standard, and this is this. And if you're not going to do it, we'll just easily hire someone the same way that you just got brought in, right? And so, I mean, a little bit of that factor in the sense that, like, you know, obviously not everyone is going to be personable enough. Not everyone is going to be able to be sociable enough to talk to people all day, to get a no from somebody all day. Like, some people just are not built for that. But the people who don't mind that, who take it and they're like, all right, but somebody's going to say yes, right? Those are the people that are really, you can build that mentality, but the people that come in with that mentality, those are the people you see come in and they're good at the sales immediately, right? All it takes is them really learning the product knowledge, the confidence, and then they skyrocket, take off. Me, I wasn't one of those people, like, at first. I got told no, and I was like, fuck. Yeah. And I was like, wear it on my back like a backpack, like, through the rest of the day, and that shit just weighs you down and down and down, and my sales were just, like, off the rip. And it wasn't even because, like, my training. I got trained with Juan, and we were dropping 10 plus with upgrades and all sorts of shit, like, every single day of the week, right? But when I had to do it by myself, that's when I realized it's, like, it's 100% different when you have to stand there by yourself and keep that same level of confidence, right? Know all these things in your own brain to tell the customer. Know the rebuttals. Being able to overcome all these different types of things that you wouldn't even think about. But you just have to know, like, keeping them in your back of your head. So, like, now, somebody shoots a rebuttal at me in the field, and I'm like, overturn it like that. But at the beginning, I'd be like, oh, shit. Give me, like, 5 seconds. I'm going to think of a response for you. And then they'd be like, no. And I'd be like, fuck. But, you know, definitely, like, the leadership is a big thing, because you can get those no's and you go to your leader, you're like, why is this? And your leader will look at you and be like, this is why. And then you have something that you can fix right then and there. Networking calls, anything, really. But, like, when you're working a job like Rayleigh's at a sandwich shop, like, customer tweaks on you and your manager's going to look at you like, what did you do? Right? They're going to immediately look to blame you. You're the problem. The customer's always right? But in reality, it's like, it's not necessarily about who's right or wrong. It's just about, like, you're going to have customers act this way and act this way. And a leader's going to tell you how to respond to that. Not emotionally, but the most efficient way, the most effective way, right? So
really just the coaching, the hands-on, the understanding. It's not, like you said, it's not right from wrong. It's how. right? It's how. It's the why behind everything. And I think a lot of people that go through like any job, a lot of like if you get any job, like a Starbucks job, you're a barista, you work at a movie theater, you work at a music studio, right? Not even the producer, you're just there. If you're like a bar back, right? If you're in the military, if you're in construction, working in the heat and outside all day, sweating on top of a roof, I think a lot of people don't understand the why and what they're doing it. You ask any business owner why they do it, they're going to give you a good detailed reason on the why. And if they can't, they're probably not a good business owner. To be honest, right? You ask my dad, he's a construction business owner, and you ask him, like, why do you do this? And he, like, loves the craft. He's like, I love seeing something that looks terrible, and with my skill and what I can do, make it nice, right? He likes seeing customer satisfaction from what he does. And little thing is different in this business, right? Like, it's focused around sales. It's focused around marketing, promoting all of our clients. We work with telecommunication. We work with food and beverage, right? All these different clients. But the main thing that's going to keep this business growing is the people, right? If you like anything, you see Walmart's getting shut down. You see all these stores getting shut down because they don't have no people. They have no employee. They have nobody understanding why they're working there. So if you're really explaining the why and the growth behind of it and understanding every single day that you're just not a number, right? You're not here just to clock in, clock out. That you're actually producing, that you're helping something very small grow into something very big. And I just wanted to be around for the growth, right? I really just wanted to be around to see what we can really do. And do you guys feel the same way?
Yeah, 100%.
It's crazy because you will never... Maybe you will be, but for the most part, I have never been a part of something where I understood the why as much, right? I've never sat down with like the general of the Navy and be like, why? Like they'll send you to war, they'll send you to do all this stuff, and you're like, why? Right? Why are we mopping up water outside, right? And just explain the why will get to motivate, to understand people, to work towards the ultimate goal. So that's the biggest thing, like understanding the why. So going into that, what is kind of like, why do you want to break away from working at different organizations to be a part of like a Smart Circle sales network or being a part of direct sales? Like, why do you want to build something for yourself or this skill?
This answer is very complex because I feel like my why is like combined a bunch of different things that kind of just like mold this like almost like chip on your shoulder, but you can't really carry it like that. You just gotta kind of feel that way, like that prove everyone wrong type of mentality, right? Coming into the business, some of my like most negative outside influences were always my parents and the people I kept around me, always telling me like, why are you going door to door? Why are you doing this? Why are you never at home? Why are you spending so many hours out of the house? Why are you never like communicating? Why don't you reach out? Why does it take you so long to respond? And all those things are just like, at first it seems like such like a crazy like difference, but really it's just like a very small sacrifice because you think about people that are extremely successful, their phone isn't even on during their meetings during the day, probably. They're not responding to calls, they're not responding to texts. And really what it is it's like me preempting them and just like letting them know ahead of time, like, hey, this is my schedule. From the times of this to this, I will not be responding probably. And this is what I'm gonna be doing. And regardless of how you feel or what you say or any emotion that you have in yourself about it, it's what I want to do and what I want to pursue. So I think a lot of people probably deal with that, especially if you like, I know a lot of people talk about their backstories of like immigrant parents and like parents that just completely don't agree with sales, marketing, going door to door. They can probably definitely relate to that a lot, where both of my parents were kind of like the devil on my shoulder, like, just quit, just come home, like, you have a house, like, you don't need to be doing this, like, you don't need to be, like, taking all these steps so fast. And especially being that, I was 19 coming into the business, 20 now, they definitely still look at me like just like their baby, right? So they want to, like, kind of cradle me and take care of me. But as a man, like, you have to get to a point where you don't want to be cradled and taken care of anymore. You want to do that for yourself and be able to provide that for others, especially when you start to build and grow and you're starting to develop other people. You definitely don't want to feel like you're still being like taken care of, or somebody can look at you and be like, yeah, I gave you this, or I helped you with this, right? You want to be like, no, I did this shit by myself, and look at these people who are being successful because of what I was able to help them with, what I was able to do for them, right? So yeah, just a big chip on my shoulder. Outside influences for sure. And definitely like working for other jobs made it feel like a job. Here, I feel like I'm doing so many different like things. Like I'm a hiring manager, I'm a sales rep, I'm so many different things, and it's just gonna keep expanding because then eventually like you're taking care of financials, profit and loss statements, you're doing back ends, inventory, you're taking care of all these different things, or it's like you wear so many different hats that it doesn't really feel like one job. And for people that are like me, because I'm very, very ADHD as well, I can't stand sitting in one place doing the same thing. So it's like perfect, for sure.
Oh, for sure. And to add on to that, like, most of us, like, if you were here in the office, most of us, before we go, like, bro, we're just here to have fun. Like, we don't even see it as a job. Like, we're like, all right, guys, have fun today. Like, it's, like, not even, like, a job for real. It's really, like...
They're going to get mad at us. They're going to kick us out of this office how loud we get. I promise.
For real.
Yeah, I really like the aspect that it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't feel like a job. Like, you know, you don't have to clock in. You don't have to be here and, like, make sure you type, like, punch in, right? You're not like, okay, let me punch out real quick. Like, I mean, for sake, like, the hours are 10 to 7:30, and I see these guys here to, like, 10:30 with me, right? I've been here since, like, midnight. Of course, it's like, man, when you work for yourself, you're going to work as many hours as you can to make this produce, but I think they understand the why. Kind of going back to what I said, they understand the why and our goals as like a business as well. But moving like into like the goals aspect for yourself, like you said you have big goals, right? For yourself, how do you manage those goals? Like how do you break them down? Do you write them down? Do you just say them out loud and hope they come true?
I don't really write them down because I don't know. I try. I'll write it down and forget I even wrote it down. I'll like keep it in the like. It's this thing that I just keep like it's an echo in the back of my head. I'll just hear it over and over. Like whenever like I get a no or a door slammed at me, I'll be like, man, I'm not even here for this, man. I'm here for the long. I'm here for that chair right there. You know what I'm saying? So
I think this chair's a little nicer too, though.
No, but I mean. Yeah, I just keep it, you know, it's like a quick reminder, you know, a little alarm in the head, like, man, don't even trip about what's going on today, man. Today's just today. Like, you're planning for in a year from now, you know, or longer, or, you know, however long it takes. So, that's how I deal with it.
Just understanding the investment you're putting in.
Yeah.
I always say that, like, even if you're an investor, right, you put in, like, out of your paycheck, like, $400 into a stock and hope it grows, right? Here, all you really got to put in is like a little bit of time, challenge yourself a little bit, and you're going to learn no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, are you be overnight success? No. But it's like literally an investment every single day, just getting better, right? Like, when I first met Jayden, like, for example, bro, it was bad. Just to, like, not even, over-exaggerate. Yeah. Terrible. It's terrible. And, like, even, like, for yourself, you probably set goals all the time, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I need to hop back on top of, like, SMART goals and setting more specific goals. Because I feel like a lot of times with, like, my SMART goals, I'll set them and they'll stay there for a while. Because they're not quite specific enough. So even if I'm doing short-term, mid-term, long-term, they all kind of seem to, like, fade into that mid to long-term. So I definitely got to set the short-term goals a lot more specific so I can be cranking those out at least. And the mid-term goals, for sure, hone in on exactly what I need to do to be accomplishing those goals faster. Because when I was setting consistent, specific SMART goals, I started growing a lot more. Like, especially when we first got down here and expanding and I was on top of everything, you know, I wasn't thinking about, like, oh, I've got 4 or 5 people coming in, 2 new stars coming in, right? Like, all those things, they kind of take away from, like, you wanting to think about yourself or your personal goals because you are so focused on these people. You want to invest in these people as much as you can. But it's so important that as their leader, you set the good example, right? So obviously, like he said, he doesn't like writing down his goals because he forgets about them. He's going to do double my negatives because I'm his leader, 100%. And just the same way, like, when we first started and Juan was my leader, every negative that he had, I was doing double of them. Anytime, like, we'd leave a door and he'd be like, man, fuck that customer, blah, 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 blah. I was in the field, I was like, man, fuck that customer, hey, shit. Like, so it's really just setting the example, and honestly, the more I set those goals for myself, the more I see myself reaching them and growing, not just on the level of, like, the sales, because at the end of the day, the sales, they'll be there. Nobody wants to be a sales rep forever. But growing the people that I bring in. Like Gabe, when he came in, like, it's been so crazy to me because he reminds me a lot of myself when he was like at the door and he was like kind of what are we doing here? Like, just kind of confused, just kind of standing at the door. He's like, all right, like, he's setting up a free phone for him. All right, he gave it to him. Okay, we're leaving now. Okay, are we doing this like 10, 12 more times today? Okay. Yeah. All right. And then I saw like the second day, he was like, oh, we got upgrades. Oh, we getting tablets in. Oh, these people actually want the product. There's these types of customers and these types of customers. And you start understanding and developing the psyche of like being able to read those customers and tell immediately off the spot, are they a buyer or are they going to tell you no, right? Based off the body language, the words that they're saying, nodding their head at them and what response they're giving you in return, right? So definitely as his leader, I've seen a lot of growth with just the mentality of the sales, but also as like just knocking down those bad habits and constantly just bringing them back up and him acknowledging them and being like, yeah, that's a problem. Let's get on it, right? So that you can just start nipping those things in the bud as fast as possible. And I understand now that when I bring other leaders in and bring other people in, when I bring other new starts in, I'll be able to identify their problems much faster and be able to give them the keys to be more successful at the sales much faster. So even if, like, for myself, I was terrible at the sales at first. But as soon as I hit leadership, my interviews weren't bad. I was able to, retain. I knew I wanted to be in a leadership position, right? That was what appealed to me a lot more than doing the sales. So ever since being out here, that's been the thing that's been, like, really separating, right? Who can build people and who can just do the sales? Because you can do the sales all day off of charisma and personality and all those things, right? But if you can't show somebody how to use those same systems, do those same things, right? And just be consistent with it, then it's like you're going to struggle in just the leadership aspect of it, 100%. And anytime that I feel like I'm struggling, that's when you use your tools, your resources, you network your people out with other people. Like, for example, when he came in, he immediately got on a network call with Josh from Sacramento office. He immediately got on a network call with Sami Ali, the CEO of the Sacramento office, then Melanie, and just a bunch of other people, right? And so you just got to use the people around you whom you know are already people that have been doing these things for a long period of time, teaching these things for a long period of time, and they're successful at it. They're retaining. They've been at that number one position like Sami Ali, right? And just leaning on those people to help you in the categories and positions where you feel like you're not the strongest at. That'll always help.
That's great. That's actually, like, you could have said it better, really. But I want to ask you the last final question, right? For someone who's, like, watching this video probably right now is like, what is this? Like, what is direct sales? Or thinking, like, getting into, like, the direct sales industry or even, like, the people development industry. What are, like, your advice to them?
I think that there's a bunch of different people who this job appeals to. Like, I have people on my team that they just love helping people, right? They fall in love with the community outreach aspect of, like, working with the client that we work with, True Connect, right? But even if you're just from, like, a 5G office or an AT&T office, right? And you're working a higher ticket sale, just the opportunity to still have that interaction with people, because at the end of the day, I know that the price points that most clients are providing are much, much more reasonable than anybody who's going out on their own to sign up for Verizon at a retail store or AT&T at a retail store, right? These people are paying ridiculous amounts of money, so you're still helping, right? So, it appeals to those people who like to help. It appeals to the people who like to be in those leadership positions. It appeals to people who like to recruit, people who enjoy bringing people in, showing them the ropes, onboarding process, right? It even appeals to people who really just like to crank sales, right? You like a shit ton of money. You like the uncapped commission. So there's just a wide variety of people where it's like, this can be something that piques your interest and intrigues you and it locks you in, right? So for those people, it's really about you as a leader showing them like, hey, this is something that you enjoy, or this is something that you said that you were willing or wanting to do, and this is how we can offer that to you. And blending those things and making it make sense.
And for yourself?
Like,
little piece of advice. Just jump into a new industry.
To jump into this, if you really like, this is an industry, like you can't halfway it, man. You gotta go all the way, and trust the progress. Like just because you get a bad day, a few bad days, a bad week, man, just stick to your 854. Stick to don't give up, man. Don't give up.
Listen to your leader.
Listen to your leader, because they listen to everybody. Once you get in this, bro, don't be a sponge. You gotta come in as a sponge. Don't be ignorant. Don't think you're the tough guy. Don't think you know everything.
Willfully ignorant.
Yeah, don't. You know what I'm saying? That's the main thing I'd say. Sponge up all the knowledge you can get. Stay confident. And trust the process, man. If you could get it easy, it's probably not that good, man. Easy money is bad money. It's not. It's not long term.
And you might be one of those people that come in and you could do the sales immediately. You might be one of those people that come in, you can't do the sales immediately, but you know you really like people. You could build people. You can create good relationships. But either way, you're gonna have a positive aspect in the business. You just gotta get there, right? It may be that delayed gratification for those people who just want to build, and that they're just really trying to lock in the sales. Or for the people that do the sales, it's that immediate gratification, and then they can't build somebody to save their life, right? So,
and don't be selfish.
Yeah.
My favorite quote is, what's your Nuna say again?
There's no amount of good you can do in this world if you don't care who gets the credit.
Amen to that.
It's my favorite quote. I will say that forever. And the person who said it is Ronald Reagan, so I don't want to take it from him. Oh. Right? That's the one who said it. But yes, I just love the aspect of, someone coming in that used to get popcorn thrown at them and have to make sandwiches for people in a grocery store, to being able to develop skills and then, develop something they can take with them forever. Right? That's what I really love about this, is just being able to give the opportunity to other people. But please.
Sales upgrades back to back.
Yeah, Mr. Yes. Speaking 4 tablets, all kinds of stuff, profiting. Yes. But really, look, just being open-minded, right? Always, whatever you're jumping into, if it's this industry, in a different industry, always be open-minded. Listen to people who've been in the industry for a while, and don't take advice from someone who's not in the industry. That's my biggest piece of advice, right? A lot of people listen to other people that have no idea what they're talking about. So really, do your research, right? Listen to those around you, and don't give up on yourself. That's number 1. Thank you guys so much for listening. Right? Do you guys have anything at all?
No. Don't listen to people that haven't made it.
Crimson on top soon.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Like the video. Check out our Instagram, our Facebook, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.